What up? Again, here we are in Miami doing another episode of Brad's Wings. Today I have with me Thierry, the party man himself, party rocker. So I'm pretty excited. It's going to be a fun interview. So I guess we'll start off, Thierry. I met you, you're from Switzerland, but I met you in Berlin. And the way we always start off the Brad's Wings is basically giving me a little kind of a little story of where you came from, maybe how you found out about pickup, because you found out about it before me, I think, even. And kind of how your development led, and then how you met me, basically.
Yeah, I found out about pickup in around end of 2004, and at that time there was like only David D'Angelo stuff, like cocky, funny stuff out there, and then the book The Game came out, and we're like, wow, this is the magic pill, right? This is what we need. And so we get into all this, met people in Switzerland and Europe, and started to get some results. And I never really was like that bad at a game. I always had some girlfriends during my youth, but it was always like I wasn't happy with the quality. I was always like, yeah, it's like I want like hotter girls, better, like nicer girls, and so that was my motivation. And results started. I started to go out a lot, to approach a lot. I had some approach anxiety, and I trained that for months, just going out and approaching, just to get this part fixed, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, the results came, and after a while, the RSD came up and stuff like that. But I settled down with a girlfriend, two, like long-term relationships.
Not at the same time.
Not at the same time, no. Just one first and another one, and it kind of like it slowed my progression. It was like, it was kind of putting in the whole progression, the whole process into pause mode, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, I realized, hey, I still got more. I can do more. I got more potential that I don't want. Why I'm wasting it, right? So at one point, I finished it, and it was around that time when I met you, end of 2010, I think it was, in Berlin. Mm-hmm. And that's when things started getting funny. So we met there at the boot camp, and I realized, the whole game evolved to much more. It was much more general, more lifestyle oriented, more a thing, because all this mystery stuff with like magic tricks, it wasn't congruent with me. And I realized, hey, there's much more behind it. The spectrum is much wider. And that kept me like very motivated to get really into it. And I did like a good while full immersion, started to read more books and get into it, going out more and consistently and more conscious. And then we traveled together in Europe, and like hang out with you and seeing the results you're getting by what you're doing, kicked me kind of like overdrive mode.
Yeah.
And liked it. And since then, I kind of never looked back again. It was like, okay, there's like pick up before I met Brad, and then pick up after Brad Impact, right?
Yeah.
So, and since then, it was a good time since then.
Nice. Yeah, I think I've had a couple guys come on programs. So I met Thierry through Matt, who you've met before. And Matt was like, yeah, this is my good buddy. He travels all over the place, so it's kind of he has a cool lifestyle, and I just want to kind of bring him on the program to hang out a bit. So I was like, okay, we'll see, and I've had every so often a friend will kind of come and sit in, and I've had some of my friends from like, let's say high school or something, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to come on. They're like single dudes, and Zach's totally just put his head in front of the camera, and that was pretty funny. Anyway, what happens was we got Zach here. He's our videographer. It's pretty kick-ass. But every time I had a guy come on program, they'd listen to the seminar, and then we go out, and I remember I'd even push them a bit. I'm like, dude, I'm going to comp you, and I'm actually going to push you to approach and do all that. And they're like, okay. And then they get out, and they see me do it to the clients that are paying. And then I'm like, okay, you go talk to her over there. And the guy's like, right now? You want me to do it? And I like push him, and then nothing happens. And then I'm like, dude, you're wasting my time, and I just kind of forget about him. But for you, what was really interesting with Thierry is basically you listened super intently during the seminar, and asked a few questions. Never kind of like stepped on the toes of the clients. But then when we went out, when we were in Berlin, like you hit it harder than the students were, and you're like implementing the things that we were talking about and going at it really hard. And I think that actually ties in directly with kind of your style of game too, you know? So I think because it's like, you know, the hardworking, fucking, we call it the party boy, whatever, we don't really have a name for it, but it's like crazy party guy, intense, and the Tommy gun approach. We're like, I'm just gonna hit this shit, I'm gonna hit it. And I think it's that same sort of work ethic and really hitting things hard. So what kind of, other than just the fact that you're horny and want to get laid, what is the motivation that kind of cultivated that within you, I guess?
I think I've always been a guy who decides when I start doing something, whatever it is, whatever skill, I'm gonna put it like to professionalism, right? I wanna do it right. I'm not doing it like mediocre. I wanna do it. That's why I was there like, oh, this boot camp is giving me so much value. Hey, I better take notes because this is money, this is value. I can use this, and then I put it into action to see how it works, how it really then works in field, and what are the results out of it. So my motivation is like, hey, like keep getting better, take step by step, keep on doing it. And I think it's also important for clients coming to the boot camp, like realize, hey, it's a very intense weekend, but the progress you can get through the weekend is awesome. It's like when I was assisting you on several boot camps, and it's cool to see the students evolve during the time frame. Mm-hmm. And I think it was what I also did. Like, hey, I took like kind of full immersion into it. I dived into it, and I was like, okay, now I'm doing this. I'm doing it right. Mm-hmm. It's kind of how I progressed.
I think too. Actually, it was the last time we were in Berlin. I remember we were out, and I hadn't seen you probably for a while, maybe 6 months or something. And I don't know. I know Matt was there and Niels were there, and we're like hitting it up, we're partying, and you know we're in with like some sevens or something like that. And all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, we need to talk to the hot girls. There's hot girls everywhere. Stop talking to this trash. Let's go. And it's like just to be like motivated. And I was like, yeah, actually, you're right. Like, don't settle. Let's keep moving forward. And I think, you know, you and Andre have been implementing that this week as well, you know?
Yeah, this week in Miami. Well, me, I'm kind of guy. I'm also like now in the long term motivated on hot girls, on hot, beautiful girls. I just like being around them and like look at them and have fun with them. So this is also why I'm here in Miami, because here we have like last night in this Story nightclub. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. So many really, really hot girls, like good quality, I would say. And we were like, hey, this week we get the reference experience, not with the 7s and the 8s, we go on the 9s and 10s, and we hit it. And we like set us up, like, if you see me talking to this not 9 or 10, tell me. So we're like, you're not talking to a 9 or 10, get out, we go further. So also here, it's like full immersion into the process to, hey, what is our goal? What do we want to train here? What do we want to become better at? And then take those steps which are necessary to get there, to do it. Don't be afraid to cut off like the easy strings, the easy ways, and go into, well, sometimes painful kind of ways. And it's like, she's over there, she's behind the rope in the VIP area. How can I talk to her, right? So bring her over here, talk to her, and then learn out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, not to sound like a broken record, but for me, my personal biggest sticking point, and usually the reason why I surround myself with like the crew here and you guys, is that I'm usually the one to kind of chill back and be the passive one and let things kind of come to me. And I'm like, obviously still take action more than the majority of people. Whereas like, that's why I have guys like you and Matt around that are just like maniac approach machines, you know? And I guess I'm just interested to dial in, like, what is your headspace when you're like, all right, let's do this shit, other than like time to implement my goal, because you know it's not like that in the moment. Mm-hmm. What is that like drive and that force?
I think the basic drive is just having a fun good time. Right? Like last night, we had so much fun. It was so hilarious. It was fun, and also when you do this stuff and you take action, things happen that you wouldn't even imagine wouldn't even believe it, right? If you don't see it or experience it. And this evolves into stories, one night stands, stories with crazy stuff that happens. And for me, it's in the long term, it's all about stories. I love telling stories and also experiencing them. And I think this is one big drive is like the fun, having fun doing it, the stories behind it you can tell later on, and those experiences, and just not. It's also the feeling of being in control of your life, right? You take action, so you are progressing stuff in your life, be it at game, be it at the health gym, or traveling. You have to take action. Those airplanes tickets are not gonna buy themselves. You have to go look them up and buy them, right, to do your trip. Mm-hmm. So same in the nightclub. You have to take action and put things step by step, moving things forward.
I think too that ties into what the other thing for your other strength that I wanted to talk about, where you're like, you don't even see the negative in it. You're just looking at the positive. You're like, yeah, this is gonna be fun, or I'll learn from this. And you're always like, you don't even like think about the negative. Whereas I think the thing that holds me back every so often is like, I'm in there and then it's like ego protection, you know? Oh, this might not go. It's not like I'm afraid of like, oh, she's gonna like shun me away, but I'm like, this might not go as well as I wanted to, and my happy little chi might drop a little bit, you know? Mm-hmm. So where do you think for you that extreme optimism and the party vibe?
It's kind of the party vibe, like having fun, being optimistic that things will turn out well, things will happen during the night. And also, one big thing I had to learn is whatever happens in that nightclubs is like, it's a crazy environment, right? And people do not react as they would normally do. So don't take things personally, right? Mm-hmm. If a girl turns you down, so what? She's missing out on me, not me on her, kind of like that. Mm-hmm. So go further. I'm not gonna let her like decide what I am feeling. So I decide what I want to feel, and I decide how I'm feeling it and what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. It's exactly this headspace that I'm in. No.
Sweet. Yeah, and you kind of mentioned this before, the pre and post Brad era of your development. What was kind of like the biggest takeaways that you saw from either hanging out with me or using the material that you learned from my boot camps?
What really changed was before I met you, there was this concept, hey, you have all these routines, you learn them, then you apply them, you get positive reactions from the girls, that makes you like kind of feeling good around them, and things evolve like that. But in the back of your mind, it's still like, hey, it's not congruent. I'm playing something. I'm not real. I have this ego, this person that I am. It's also like, we also said, hey, let's go out and game. Well, it has changed. Now, it's not going out and game, it's just going out, being myself, expressing myself, having fun, and things evolve from that. It's so much more congruent. And what I also really learned is like, hey, to realize the value that I have in my life. I mean, if I bring a girl in my life, if she winds up to be my girlfriend, she has an awesome lifestyle. She travels around with me, we go to nice places, good foods, meeting super interesting people, and all this stuff, having good conversations. And if she comes into my life, she has all of that. This is like a huge impact in her life, a huge amount of value that I bring into her life. Mm-hmm. And to really realize that my life is so good, so much fun, such high value. And then to realize, hey, I don't really have to convey it actively. Yeah. I just have to believe in much more. Believe in much more that I'm this high value guy that every girl would be lucky to hang around with, and spending time with.
Well, I think too, I remember talking to Matt, and he said that was kind of your big sticking point, probably over the last year or two.
Definitely. It took me, after I met you, it took me a good year to implement it, to realize, hey, I am high value. I don't have to play routines to get the reaction as I would be high value. No, I am high value. Mm-hmm. And then to convey that, not to be afraid to be yourself and to convey this high value persona that you have.
What do you think made it flip over?
Well, at one point I was like, hey, I was still like everybody, you were saying it, Matt was saying like, hey dude, you're so high value, but I wasn't believing it. So I sat down at my desk like, okay, everybody around is kind of saying it to you, but why am I not believing it? And I realized like, okay, I have these reference points that I am high value, but they're like unconscious. So what I did, I took like a paper and started a list. Hey, why am I high value? Oh, because of that. Oh, I travel a lot. Cool, yeah, that's cool. I do what I want. I eat healthy. I do a lot of sports. I have interesting friends. I'm an interesting person. I read a lot. And I starting this list, and it gets longer and longer and longer. And after a while, you go through it, and you're like, holy shit. Do I even know someone who has like the same amount of points on that list? It's also when you start to realize, hey, who am I hanging around with? Who am I spending time with, right? So me in the last months, I rarely spend time on a date because most girls I meet kind of bore me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I can have sex, I can go out, have one night stands, so why should I spend time on a date which I'm bored, and I can do several other things which are much more interesting for me and also more rewarding in the long term.
Yeah, and that is, then you have the value shift, right? Definitely. Whereas like you see it, and that's something that's great, and I always suggest that it's like, on the one hand, it is very good to know the tangible things that kind of, to pump you up. But I also say, because I'm sure guys watching this are like, well, I'm living in my parents' basement, and I'm not cool like Thierry, and stuff like that. But what it is if you actually look at the underlying thing underneath each one of those, it's like you're taking action there. You're making decisions. You're just not living life passively, like letting things come to you, not playing the victim. So it's like, yeah, I make the effort. Like, you don't have to travel if you don't want to, like if you have the money, right, or something. But it's like you're always making those decisions, like going to the gym. It doesn't matter who you are. You can go to the gym or something like that. So it's like the fact that you made that decision, those are the things that build up that self-esteem and kind of that entitlement where you're like, do I deserve this girl? Yes, I do. And then you see the other side of it with the girl itself. And you're like, you know, my old buddy, what did he used to say? He's like, what can a girl offer me? Blowjobs and making me a sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, it's really,
you know,
you start thinking about this way, like.
Not in a misogynistic way. I mean, of course, like women are like the beauty of life and all that too. But
yeah, definitely.
You see actually the utility that they bring to your lifestyle.
Yeah, you definitely start thinking about it, because sex is cool, but it's not everything.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think the next thing, bringing the glory, you talked about how you kind of started off and things you learned. You have some fun stories with some cool learning lessons. So I think the one, I won't even preface it of what the story is about. Just kind of get into it, because it's a good one.
The story?
Yeah, the story.
The story? Okay. Yeah, it's a fun story because it was a big realization for me after what happened. And it's not like that. I was back in my hometown and was out. It was one bar. I went out a lot. And at one point I met this girl, call her Girl A, right? And we had fun, we had makeouts and stuff, but nothing happened that night with that girl. And around 2 weeks later, not 10 days later, I think in the same bar, I met another girl, Girl B. And they kind of look the same. They have a kind of same like look from the outside, like kind of same behavior. And that night with the Girl B, like the magic happened. It was like a nice one night stand, awesome sex, like fun night. We had so much fun together. And yeah, but it was just a one night experience. It was cool, a lot of fun. All right, cool. And then I think it was a week or 2 weeks later, not far later after that one night stand, I met Girl A again at the same bar. And the thing was, I had a couple of drinks and I saw her coming, and from the beginning on, I thought it was Girl B, which I already had sex with, right? We already had this fun night. And I was happy to see her, like, hey, cool to see you. And what I did, I talked to her and I behaved around her in the belief that we already had sex like 2 weeks ago, right? So I was touching her, making out like pretty fast, and like, hey, let's do like kind of like do another night together because it was so much fun. And we're making out in this bar and having fun. And like one point, like, okay, let's go, let's have some fun. So we left the bar and we took a cab. And I was like, hey, yeah, we take the cab to your place, because with girl B, the one I already had sex, she lived pretty near. And now girl A, she was like, oh, no, I live like far away. And I'm like, oh, have you moved? And she's like, no, let's go to your place. Like, all right, let's go to my place. So we roll up at my place.
You said, well, the other thing too, you said the whole night you're calling her the other girl's name.
Yeah,
right?
I call her the whole night. I was calling her girl B, right?
Yeah,
but she was girl A, and she was like giving me like this weird look, but I never really got it. It's the wrong, like not the same girl I thought she is.
Yeah.
So we rolled up at my place, and things evolved. We had fun, we had sex, and it was great. And we fell asleep, blah blah blah. And in the morning, sun came up. I got awake and turned around, looked at her, and at that point I realized, holy shit, this is girl A. It's not girl B I already had sex with. And I had to laugh at that point to this realization that it was a new girl. We never had sex before, girl A. And it came into my mind, I think the big point why everything went so smoothly during the whole night up to having sex in my place was the fact that I behaved around her, I touched her, I talked to her as we already had sex together, right? So it was much more intimate from the beginning on. Mm-hmm. And I was so comfortable with that because I was truly believing it that she kind of fell into that. She had there was no resistance to it. Mm-hmm. So the epiphany was to realize like, hey, I behaved around her exactly the same as I would behave like my girlfriend, which I have sex all the time. And by doing that, it was kind of clear from the beginning on that we're gonna wind up having sex together this night, and it's what happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a hugely beneficial frame to have, is the frame of look at the girl as if it was the girl you've known for 6 months, like you hooked up.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden you hadn't seen her for 6 months, but maybe you like hooked up a couple times, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, Sarah, so nice to see you again. And you're looking at her, but you've seen her naked body. And you know, like you interact with her, like it's just fully assumed.
Definitely.
From the
fully
very beginning,
assuming,
fully
yeah.
assumed.
Yes, definitely.
And I think that's like, tying into the material, the evolution stuff is like the first level, I think, for beginner, intermediate is just assuming that they're going to be friendly. Like guys, if they're just starting off, I'm like, they're not scary, whatever. Mm-hmm. So you assume that like, oh, I've known this person for 6 months, like it's a guy or something. And then the advanced level shit is exactly that. The more where you go in there and everything just kind of falls into place then, because you're like, yeah, of course we're going to leave together. So when you leave, there's no like, the baby steps, like, you're coming with me, let's go, let's do this. You're just like, let's go to your place. And even if she's like, what, you know what I mean? But you still had the frame of, it's so decisive and you're so like that 100% commitment with it that she's just like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah, it was the full belief that we're going to have sex tonight, right? I was fully believing it because I thought we already had. Mm-hmm. So this led like pretty easy to the glorious moment.
Sweet. I like that story. Cool. I think we're kind of finishing it out here. This is a good interview. Any final words of glory or wisdom for the guys watching?
Well, for me, it has been taught and talked about a couple of times. For me, it's the game kind of evolved in this much bigger spectrum. It's about, lifestyle development. Hey, do what you enjoy in life. Do it as much as you can with the people you like. You're gonna be so much more happy. You're gonna be so much more happier. And as a side product of that, by just going out, being social, talking to girls, not afraid to approach, to taking those steps, like having fun with girls is kind of a side product of the whole process. I think comes more and more naturally than after a while. And also a big thing is time is on your side, definitely.
Being a man, it's good to be a man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Time is on your side. Be patient. I'm a very impatient man person, and I had to learn like, hey, be patient. Things gonna turn out good. Mm-hmm. The big belief, this optimistic belief, like things gonna turn out well, and be patient. But keep taking those steps.
As long as you're taking action. Yeah, exactly. Actually, one last thing too. I forgot I haven't asked this in a couple of the interviews. Is what keeps you going out, and like what is your goal moving forward with pickup, other than the lifestyle and the holistic stuff of what you just said?
With pickup is well, one part is the fun side of it. Like here in Miami, we had so much fun. This like almost 10 days now. The fun side of it, definitely the stories that come along with that, and also what I realized is like the more I got the girls, I really find attractive, like gorgeous, beautiful girls, and you hang out with them. And some are a bit like less interesting, but some of them are like smart and interesting, and it's fun to hang out with them and have a good time together. And this like keeps me motivated. Like, hey, I want more of that. I want more of that. I want to travel the world. I want to see how it is in South America, how it is in Asia, how it is in here in North America.
Mm-hmm.
And also what comes along with that, the more you experience, definitely the more you also know what you really want.
Totally, yeah.
Be it in life or in girls, and your values get adjusted. It, and I know now much more, or like more exactly, what I want, what I'm looking for in a girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if girls give me a hard time and like all right, bye, not with you. Yeah.
And you know you have the abundance to find
Totally.
one. Yeah, another one. Sweet.
Definitely.
Great. All right. So with that, end up this interview. It was good having Thierry here, coming all the way from Switzerland. And I will see you next week. Have a great week.
Bye.